my parents' dream had come true, I'd be anywhere but standing here today. And of course, not talking about empathy and leaders as women. My parents expected a boy. Luckily, I was born the third daughter to my family, but nothing about that stopped my dad from raising me like one of the guys. I took karate instead of piano lessons. Instead of delicate pastimes, I went hunting with my dad and I learned to compete like my life depended on it. Don't be fooled by the nice dress and a bow in this picture. Actually, I was the one who had no qualms about posing with a live bear. And you see, honestly, I wasn't even impressed that much. But I needed to prove everyone I could do it. I'm strong. I'm a man. And all through my school and university years, I thought I was a true leader. You know, that one who stood firmly by their opinions, who used authority as a tool, who refused to show any weakness. Of course, I argued faithfully with those who disagreed with me, and I shut out opposing viewpoints, and I met emotions with sarcasm. So my mantra basically was be feared, be respected. But back then, I didn't realize one thing, that fear is a terrible fuel. Niccolo Machiavelli, in his famous fundamental work, The Prince, said that the way better to be feared than loved. And even now, some modern business gurus treat this line like an ultimate cheat code. You know, just manipulate yourself, manipulate others, and show that emotions are irrelevant. And wow, that's leadership. But doesn't really it feels like a dream? I don't think so. Um, Talking about shady leadership, once I worked for the company where the CEO literally called his employees minions. Yeah, like those yellow little dudes from Despicable Me cartoon. I don't think he realized that minions actually flock to the most despicable, disgusting boss they could find. And it's not that fuzzy, warm atmosphere you'd hope for in real world. Yeah. See, Machiavelli's ideas helped spawn what psychologists call the dark triad. It's narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. Basically, it's a code to manipulate everyone, show that feelings are irrelevant, and do whatever you want to get ahead. And together, these three traits create environments where fear crushes trust. And people tend to hide under their desk rather than collaborate. And it's not the vibe we are looking for, right? And what I wanted to say about it, that let's dive into the drama of fear-based leadership. Picture this. You go to work, your boss storms in, and everyone starts shaking like they watched a horror movie, but in real life. That's what we call fear-based leadership. It's basically the managerial equivalent to because I said so. And fear-based leadership is something very bad. Why? Because, first of all, it destroys everything at the workplace. Like loyalty, but what loyalty when the leadership is all about scaring people into submission? People stay there as long as they have to. And it's like waiting for the new iPhone drop so you can ditch your old phone. And you can't build trust and loyalty when the whole team is counting the days to hit unsubscribe from this workplace. Creativity, hard pass. If you feel that you get roasted for the bad idea, you just keep quiet. And next thing you know, everyone is quiet. And the innovation level on your team is zero. Sorry, you will not going to create the next big app if the whole vibe is speak up and get punished. So, fear-based leadership, to me, it's like dial-up internet. Technically, yeah, it might still work, but it's ridiculously slow, painful, and outdated. Meanwhile, empathetic leadership is like this high speed fiber connection. It's clear, it's fast, and it's way more reliable. So, do we want to lead like this and be this big bad boss who leads with intimidation? Or we want to try something new that doesn't feel like the Game of Thrones audition? There are another ways to do it. Let's talk about John Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership pyramid. Level 1 is position. It's the entry spot. You're here, you have a title, and people do what you say because they must. People follow you because they have to. It's not the worst place to start, but if you stay there, everyone will get terrified or bored or both. Level 2 is permission. That's where magic begins. You build relationships, you earn trust, and people follow you because they want to. The whole vibe shifts from, do I have to do it, to, wow, let's create something really great together. On level 3, production. That's the level when you start driving results in a measurable, tangible way. Your team starts racking up wins, and maybe it's hitting sales targets, maybe it's winning awards. Whatever success looks like to you, now it's measurable, it's real, and it's awesome. On level 4, people development, you don't just boss people around, you actually grow them. You see the next generation of leaders, you mentor them, you invest in their skills, and people stay with you because they know that you are a great leader. And pinnacle, the last level, it's the summit of the pyramid, and usually it takes a lot of time to get there. But at this point, your leadership legacy is so strong that basically it has its own fandom, and people follow you because they know you bring the best in everyone, and you're practically unstoppable. And while Machiavelli might said, lead with fear, Maxwell model reminds us that we can lead with heart by inspiring, enriching, and championing people around us. And when we do, we create the whole communities, environments, workplaces that thrive on genuine connection rather on coercion. And it's a real magic. But now I want to dive into something heavy, but incredibly important. The shootings in Christchurch of 2019. It's not an easy topic, so I'm gonna keep it real, but also I want to highlight a bright spot in the midst of this tragedy. On March 15, 2019, two consecutive terrorist attacks hit the Al Noor Mosque and the Linwood Islamic Center in Christchurch, New Zealand. 51 people lost their lives. Dozens more were injured. And for the country that prided itself on unity and peace, it was a massive shock. It's like your safe haven turned upside down overnight, and people needed answers, comfort, and real action. And then the New Zealand's Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, stepped in. What happened next? We know that politicians usually do their thoughts and prayers routine, but Ardern went way beyond that. Actually, she, within hours, condemned the violence as a terrorist act. Straight to the point, no sugarcoating. And she traveled to Christchurch to meet the families and survivors. She wore a headscarf out of respect to Muslim community members. And it might look symbolic, but in that very moment, it spoke volumes. I stand with you. I see you. And instead of stiff handshakes and rehearsed talking points, she actually embraced people, listened to their stories, and offered human warmth. And these things are usually missing in politics. Ardern turned empathy into action by highlighting the victims as fellow Kiwis, not separate them, Muslims. It was all us at the moment. And also, she and her government swiftly passed the legislation banning semi-automatic weapons. It was a big deal. It was really a big deal. Such a huge reform in no time. It's something outstanding. And teaming up with France President Emmanuel Macron, she spearheaded an initiative to tackle violent extremist content on social media platforms. And if someone says, like, empathy is very soft, it's very gentle, well, gun law reforms and a global push to curb online hate beg to differ. Whether you are leading a club at school, a startup, or entire country, empathy is your superpower. Do something about it. Mean it. Show people that you care. And then you really create a momentum, a positive change that really have an impact on everything. And now I would like to talk about you, the up-and-coming game changers, Gen Z representatives, Gen Alpha representatives, maybe some millennials. Why do you have this special age in empathy leadership? First of all, from climate activism to social justice initiatives, you demand a lot from your leaders. You point out the inequities, and you're not afraid to talk about them. You demand transparency, authenticity, and compassion from your leaders. Basically, empathy is in your DNA. And when someone says that empathy is fluff, empathy it's not relevant, empathy is something really gentle and irrelevant, you can say that you are standing on the forefront of the leadership revolution, and it's true. And leading with compassion, it's not only moral, it's smart. Thank you.